We'll be covering evolution today, from ape to Neanderthal to the wild man. Before anybody takes offense, I have family members with blue and green eyes, and me myself, I have hazel eyes. Everyone with blue eyes can trace their ancestors to a beautiful European coastal region, the corner of Europe. This region is the Black Sea region, and it's a genetic mutation because everybody on Earth started with brown eyes. So in Peru, they found elongated skulls that did not belong to the Native Americans, but they belonged to people in Eurasia that happened to be from the Black Sea area. Some of these skulls have red hair, for Isu was red, the red-headed giants. And also in Russia, in these caves, they found other so-called alien skulls.
The ancient Egyptians spoke about a race of men that they created. These hairy ape men were said to wreak havoc amongst the people of Egypt. So the Egyptians rounded them up and imprisoned them in the Caucasus Mountains, which they called Europa after their queen Euro, and rope meaning contained or imprisoned. The story relates to that of Tutmosis, who was sent to the Caucasus Mountains to give them language and written knowledge. It should be noted that the Russians have a similar Exodus story in ancient text. These Europa men who terrorized indigenous peoples of the world eventually be portrayed as kings, seers, and holy men. Because of things like the Crusades and the infamous burning of the Library of Alexandria, a lot of the world's history has been distorted to fit the narrative of the winners.
Were never allowed in this museum up until now. And what you're looking at are the original ancient Paracas people. They were born with elongated skulls. You can see if you very carefully look, there's no sagittal suture going down the center of the forehead, which there is in the later people, like this person and that person. Those are examples of head binding. These are examples of people born with elongated skulls. And all of the great elongated skulls in Peru have been found in one cemetery, and only one cemetery, and only in an area of about 20 acres. And I've, of course, have been to that location many times. But these are the authentic, elongated, ancient, original Paracas people. We've done genetic testing, and they are not Native American in origin. They're closely related to DNA found around the Black Sea area of Eurasia. So,
found by archaeologists in the Caucasus. They were found in a chest on which there was the emblem of a German occult organization known as Anna Nerva. The organization existed in the 1940s, and its purpose was
The
to
serpent
search for
seed found.
mystical relics.
This
Judging by the
explains
shapes
why.
of the skulls, the beings to whom these remains belonged were definitely horned and walked on two legs. They also lacked mouths, having instead small holes on the sides of their heads. Who these skulls belong to and exactly what the Anna Nerva were looking for in the Caucasus remains a mystery to scientists.
And now to the Rh negative blood type. This is the blood type of the royals, the presidents, and the elites. Rh Jesus negative blood type. So what this is Neanderthal blood type, the wild man blood type. This is what this is. And you notice how it ends with Jesus, right? So there's Neanderthals versus human. So the Pope divided the world to be colonized between Spain and Portugal, and the largest concentration of Rh negative blood type is in Spain. It's actually between Spain and France, and the Papal bloodline came from France. So they were mixed with a primate, the rhesus monkey, and one of the characteristics of a carrier, Rh positive carrier, is that they're born with a tail. So you notice how it ends with Jesus. It has the RH in Jesus, as in the Celtic god Jesus, the sun god that happens to be of that part of the world, of Eurasia. This is the so-called Holy Grail that Mary Magdalene and Jesus ran off to France, this is the Papal bloodline, to live in a cave and start the Holy Grail, the Papal bloodline. And Neanderthals happen to be what? Cave people. I'll show you some artwork on the wild man. And remember that Esau was red and hairy all over. But I'm going to start with the Queen of Heaven. They're Mary. And the scriptures does tell you that an angel from heaven would teach us or preach to us another gospel and another Jehoshua. That's exactly what they did. Even depicted in tapestry, the dramatic people, because this is who they are, of the Moors fighting the wild man. Keeping in mind that Russia and China would be invading America, which is that part, Eurasia, and these skulls were found in Russia. And this makes me laugh because this kind of reminds me of Godzilla versus Kong, which is the reptilian and the Neanderthals trying to fight over who's going to enslave the human race. Final thought, I first started this video talking about the color blue and how they all come from that particular region. But it's also interesting to me because the color of frequency for the color blue is 666, and all these smart cities that are coming up are blue.
Because these two blood types can't interbreed, basically, medical intervention is needed. It's why, actually, in the past, people had to have a blood test before they were allowed to get married.
The very fact that an Rh negative mother, her body would actually try to kill an Rh positive baby generates bizarre scenarios. How on earth could this happen? It suggests somewhere in our lineage that the Rh negatives and the Rh positives are perceived as being profoundly different. And also, studies of Rh negatives suggest that they have lower than normal blood pressure, lower than normal pulse. In a number of cases, they have an extra vertebra in their back.
Rh negative is very rare. Most of the world didn't have it until colonization started in the 15th century. Rh negative didn't exist in the Americas, it didn't exist in Southern Africa, it didn't exist in Asia. It was only in Europe, so it spread out from there. Out of Africa, that theory has it that all human beings originated in Africa, Southern Africa, Sub-Sahara. They're all Rh positive. They don't have any Rh negative. Where did Rh negative evolve then?
15% of the humans have Rh negative blood. 15%. And scientists have...
We're about to see something truly astounding. A discovery that's caused an absolute sensation. One that could have untold significance for every one of us. And not only that, it's a totally engrossing mystery story too. You're about to meet a family that shouldn't exist. A family like no other. They could just be the missing link between man and ape. The holy grail scientists have sought for generations. They're living, breathing men and women, but they walk on all fours, just as we did 4 million years ago. And until this film was shot, they were hidden away, unseen by the outside world. A remote village in Turkey. Here, hidden from the world, lives an extraordinary family. A family whose very existence could rewrite the evolution textbooks.
I was really fascinated. Here are humans doing things that they're not meant to be doing.
For the past year, their existence has been known to just a handful of experts who have been sworn to secrecy. When I heard of it myself, I was intrigued, but nothing prepared me for the reality. Now, finally, the secret can be revealed.
The immediate response I had was that I couldn't believe my eyes. I had never expected that, even under the most extraordinary scientific fantasy, that modern human beings could return to an animal state.
In scientific terms, it was the equivalent of finding living, breathing fossils. Human beings who had never made the evolutionary leap of standing upright.